Hi everyone, my name is Russell Medley and this is my EDL 959 case study. In this case study, we look at Triscuit Middle School. It is a 7th and 8th grade building made up of 650 students and 80 teachers and staff. It is a part of Rockford City School District, which is in a large metropolitan area. The demographics of this middle school of the students is 80% African American, 17% white, and 3% other. The classes are mixed with inclusion students, regular ed students, as well as multi-disability students. And there is a lack of parent involvement where about 25% of parents are attending conferences or non-academic activities. Kim is the assistant principal of the school. She's been there for 5 years. She's described as a technology geek and really believes in developing technology rich curriculums, teaching digital literacy to help meet the needs of students. She has a tendency to do things by herself without involving others, however. And in her school, she feels that the biggest problems are promoting change and getting staff on board with technology integration, as a lot of them are kind of stuck doing the old school method of teaching and assessing. So, mentioning that, the teachers kind of are ones that feel that they just need to lecture. The students are expected to just receive the information. They use paper pencil assessments, norm reference tests used to kind of chart student progress and learning. There's not much authentic assessments being done, as well as many resources for non-academic activities. Their annual scores on state assessments are below expectations, and in particular, students do poorly on short answer or extended response prompts. They are also in their second year of a school improvement plan. The problem is that Kim also believes solutions would come from changing how the curriculum is being taught and incorporating digital literacy. And she's even gone as far as trying to provide professional development as well as changing the setup of the day where they have 84-minute blocks where they are allowed to kind of emphasize or encouraged to emphasize this online curriculum and digital literacy tools. However, it's not being done and is not working. So next we look at any legal or ethical issues with this case study. Obviously, student needs are not being met, and especially students with IEPs legally should have accommodations in place to help meet their needs. Kim is making decisions without input from other stakeholders. Teachers are not provided enough support in making curriculum changes. My guess also is that there's not much buy-in because they aren't a part of the process in coming up with these decisions. It's all just coming from Kim. Finally, there's no differentiation or personalization among assessments. There's nothing done. With the diversity was mentioned earlier, and there's nothing really done as far as cultural responsiveness, as well as the various learning needs that are inside each classrooms. It just kind of seems like there's a one size fits all model, and we know that that's not going to meet the needs of all students. So, what is happening? Kim, the assistant principal, is trying to lead a change in her building with new curriculum and digital literacy resources to meet students' needs, but the staff seems stuck in their ways of traditional methods for teaching, learning, and assessment. So now we look at what is known. Starting with the people, we know that Kim is the assistant principal. She has 5 years experience at the current school she's at. She's described as a tech geek who wants to develop technology-rich curriculums to help meet the students' needs. The staff are majority Caucasian, and they are stuck in their ways of traditional teaching and assessing. The students are 80% African American, 17% are white, 3% other, and 65% of them are on free and reduced lunches. Triscuit Middle School is a 7th and 8th grade building with 650 students. There are 80 teachers and staff, and it's located in Rockford City School District, which is a metropolitan urban area. They are in their second year in school improvement. As far as programs, it was mentioned that they're kind of in a using traditional ways of teaching and learning, where the teachers are lecturing. There's paper pencil assessments. It also makes reference to a textbook by Holt McDougall, where it incorporates norm reference tests to determine the degree of learning that's happening. We also know that the school is under school improvement because students have scored below expectations on state assessments, in particular doing poorly on short answer extended responses. What is unknown from this case study? We don't hear anything mentioned of other administration, whether that be like the principal in the current school, school board, or even administrators in other schools in the district. We also don't know anything about the years of experience of the current staff at Triscuit Middle School, and we don't know of any previous experience Kim has had before being at Triscuit Middle School. Also, we don't know of the reasoning for low involvement from parents at conferences and non-academic events. Some things we don't know about the places. We don't know the demographics of other schools in the district, if they kind of are the same as Triscuit. We don't know what's also being done in terms of curriculum and assessments in other schools. We also don't know any resources available at Triscuit Middle School that would help support the new curriculum initiative that Kim is trying to implement, whether this be computer labs, one-to-one technology, things like that. We don't know kind of the setup of the school and what they are prepared to do in terms of that. And then as far as program, things that are unknown, it's mentioned that professional development has been utilized, but we don't know the type of professional development um, in regards to the curriculum and technology use. It's mentioned that other interventions have been put into place, but we don't know what those are. And then also, we don't know anything about the SPED process and the support that's in place for those students in the classrooms. So that would be something interesting to know as well. So, in kind of reviewing and prioritizing the information, we know that Triscuit Middle School has a lot of diversity in regards to race and learning needs. The students are scoring low on state assessments, in particular the short answer extended responses. Kim, the assistant principal, has tried to shift the mindset of teachers to utilize online curriculum and digital literacy tools to better meet the needs of students. She's tried professional development as well as changing the class schedules for more time to focus on this. The teachers and staff are continuing to use traditional methods of teaching, learning, and assessments, and students' needs are not being met, and Kim is trying to find ways to engage staff and get them on board. So next we look at our options and consequences of those options. First and foremost, we could do nothing. And the obvious consequences is nothing's going to change, where students' needs are going to continue not being met and the same problems will continue to exist. We could hold those teachers accountable and discipline them if they're not moving towards the desired results. And while we might get teachers to oblige to this, we are kind of creating a negative culture, kind of a fear-based culture where this might lead to distrust or no buy-in and result in a lot of turnover among staff in that building. I put low there. I should have said high. My fault. The criteria also list these different types of control: directive control, where the leader assigns the course of action. So the building leader comes up with, this is what we're going to do. Everyone else is expected to be on board with that. This would result in kind of low motivation from staff and not create buy-in towards school goals. We also have directive informational, where the leader kind of gives options and teachers choose the best course of action. Consequence of this would be that there's not consistency among staff, and it may be hard to kind of keep tabs on everything as a school leader with multiple choices that they could choose from. There's also a collaborative, where leaders and teachers are working together to choose the best action. So consequences of this would be that some may just wish that the leader make the decisions and not be a part of the process. Sorry. And then the non-directive, the teachers completely kind of release control of the choices to the teachers. And obviously, this might result in just a lot of chaos where the leaders aren't really in tune with what's going on in the school. The teachers might get off track, and just having if they all have kind of free reign there, it's going to be hard to monitor everything and make sure that we're moving in the right direction. Next, evaluating the different options. If the first option in doing nothing, uh, the pros would be that teachers can continue doing what they are used to doing. And then the cons would be that students' needs will not be met, assessment results will continue to stay below expectations, and then we would also have that continued low involvement from parents. Holding the teachers accountable and discipline them if not moving towards those results. This may motivate teachers to get on board. It might even get to a point where we terminate teachers who are not aligned with the school goals, and then we could recruit and employ those who are. However, this might bring about a negative school culture and result in high turnover among staff. And looking at the directive control, the administrator would get the desired result they want, and it's kind of clear cut on what the expectation is. However, this might result in a negative perception by teachers, which would affect buy-in and motivation to carry out the action. And then the directive informational choice, the leader is still in control, but also allows staff to choose from options. So there's a nice balance there. However, there's not consistency, and staff may not like any of the options presented or feel it fits their needs. In a collaborative option, admin and teachers are working together, coming up with solutions. This would create more buy-in when teachers feel part of the process. However, some staff may not want to be part of that process or feel that it's part of their job to come up with those things. And then in the non-directive, teachers are in control and make decisions based on what they feel is best for them and their students. However, this would be harder to track progress for leaders in terms of meeting school goals. And then obviously the leaders are not as involved in that process. So, in evaluating all the choices, I would choose the collaborative effort where we're working together. I would create a leadership team made up of admin, teachers, community members, and parents. We would meet frequently to look at the data, our progress towards school goals, try and gain the perception of various stakeholders, staff, students, and families to kind of see how they're feeling about everything. And then really try and just align everything to the vision and mission of our school. And further, I would try and break our staff up into committees that would address different things, such as um, being culturally relevant instruction and assessments, family engagement, professional development needs, as well as any curriculum and digital literacy programs that are out there that we could utilize. Also, trying to find professional development that is relevant to the needs of our staff and students. And then in implementing my decision, I would first have an initial staff meeting going over kind of our state assessment results and other data, and just basically lay it out like this is where we're at. Obviously, we're not where we need to be. What we are doing is not working. We need to kind of have a kind of a rehaul of what it is we're trying to do. Going back and probably having our vision and mission statement posted, like where do we want to be? How can we be culturally responsive and meet the needs of all students and set them up for success after they leave our school? I would put staff and teams based on strengths that they have as well as interests that address the culturally responsive assessments, online curriculums and technology, parent involvement, as well as non-academic activities. And then also continuing on, once we kind of have that input, we would decide on curriculums that could be used. Our investigative teams could present information based on their findings that best fit the needs of our students. And then this would also help us in knowing kind of what we need to have or be able to do to implement those. It would be important to have professional development that supports teachers in the implementation process. Whatever curriculum we or digital literacy tools we want to utilize, just seeking out specific professional development on that would be very beneficial. And then it's also important just to have consistent progress monitoring and collaboration, evaluating that data. And if teachers continue to disregard the new strategies, then we need to hold them accountable. Whether this be a teacher improvement plan based on evaluations, termination if necessary, and then in the hiring process, just look to hire staff that reflect the diversity of our students. It was mentioned that 80% of the students were African American, but also that majority of the staff were Caucasian. So I think it would be important just having a good hiring process where we try and recruit and hire those that are on board with our goals, but also kind of reflect our community as well. That is all I have. Thank you.